Happy holidays. Yes, it is another holiday edition of Punch TV, and we have so much to bring you. We've got some special guests today. We've got Peter Dodson. He's going to talk to Tony about his Star Wars collection. He has a lot of action figures. We're going to talk to Dan Flaman about the best holiday games to play. And we are going to talk to Kevin Sirkowski, who's got a really cool charity endeavor called Books for Crooks. And you're going to hear all about it right here. But first, we have some cartoons. It wouldn't be a holiday special without them, by some local creators. And we also have some action figure theater. And of course, it wouldn't be the holiday special without Paperbag theater as well. So I hope you'll stay tuned with us because we have so much to share with you. Merry Christmas. All right, we have some craft time. I really am a big proponent of homemade gifts for Christmas.
Really?
Yes, I think, especially if you can repurpose things, because then it's not just buying more stuff, which is like not good for the world. It's like you did something, you took time, it's from the heart. You know, if you make something, it means more.
Crafting is from the heart.
It truly is. So, so today I thought we could do something with old T-shirts. Lots of times I get people who are like, I have all these cool shirts, but you know, I can't wear them all, or you know, this has a stain or a rip, but I really like
Maybe
the
it
design.
got a little smaller.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you got bigger and the shirt doesn't fit so well anymore.
No, I think the shirt shrunk in the wash.
Yeah, that can happen. So I have made shirts into throw cushions. I have a sewing machine, so I am very lucky. So this is kind of nice and tailored. It looks really good, but not everybody can sew. So I thought, well, why don't we do something with a no-sew throw pillow? Huh?
Trademark.
Trademark. There you go.
like it.
So I took a T-shirt and made little guys all the way around, and then just tied them together and filled it up with stuffing. And then you have sort of a throw pillow slash plushy guy, Galactus. Planet Eater, you know, who wouldn't want that on their sofa?
Who
pretty
would?
Awesome.
I love it.
So it's pretty simple. So you take your design, so whatever old shirt you have, here's like a round one. And generally I find that you only get about 2 inches of play from the top of your design to like where the collar
So
starts.
this is this much.
So not very much. So if you can use a ruler or a dressmaker's tape, simply measure the distance from there to like as far out as you can. The more frondsy,
Like 2 inches right there. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
The more fronds you have to tie together, the better. The longer they are, I think they look a little better.
Is this the frond? Is that what you're saying?
The fronds.
Oh, okay.
We'll call them fronds. That's a technical term here.
Okay.
So all I did was I just went around. I used chalk because everybody has chalk. You can get fancy, use a dressmaker's pencil, but if you don't have that, chalk works just as well. And actually, on a black T-shirt, chalk works even better. So all you want to do is just go all the way around your edge and then cut that edge out. So Superman is going to be a shaped pillow. And then measure out. I did 1 inch. If you want your little guys to be skinnier or fatter, it's up to you. I think if they were a little bit fatter, it would be harder to tie them together. But at least 2 inches, because that gives you lots of room to play around. And then once you have that, just cut. Just go around and cut. Not into the design, but just to the edge so that you see?
That's coming together.
Coming together. And then you take those two, you tie them together. Now, I just tied once. I think you probably long-term want to tie double tie. But tying once to get the shape, then stuff it with your stuffing, and then go back around again and tie everything a second time just to keep everything super tight.
And that's how you end up with something like this.
And that's how you end up like that. So you can, how do you get your stuffing? You can buy a pre-made pillow form at like a sewing store. Sometimes department stores will have these, but they're kind of expensive. And I'm all about the cheap and cheerful craft.
Inexpensive.
Inexpensive. Yes. So you can buy cotton batting, again, sewing store, or the best source that I have found for this kind of stuff is just buy a cheap pillow. And then all you do is just take off the cover, and then inside you have all this batting that's like really inexpensive, and you just cut it to the size that you want, stuff it inside, and tie up all the edges all the way around. Do you think you'll try this?
How do we put it all together then?
So, well, we don't have enough time right now, but honestly, like from the time it took me to iron the t-shirt, map it all up, cut it all, put it all in, it took me 20 minutes.
And then once it's all in, then you use a sewing machine?
No, just tie it.
That's
just
it.
tie the edges.
So you're
and
telling me these
done.
fronds, you tie them all.
You tie them all
probably 2
up.
times, like you said, right?
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's it, and you're
So
done.
somebody who's not crafty like me, I could do this.
You could totally do this.
Totally.
Never eat pink turkey.
Or chicken, or duck, or poultry of any kind, because why? Nothing ruins a holiday party more than a food-borne illness. You ever get food poisoning around the holidays?
Yeah, recently actually. Just recently.
Not good.
Yeah.
And to make somebody happy, Tana's from Guelph, Ontario, please look at the link on the bottom of the screen right now. Go to Health Canada to find out how you can prevent food poisoning around the holidays.
Never eat yellow snow.
It may look like a lemonade slush puppy, but it's not.
Shh. Is that Santa?
Not quite, kid.
Mr. and Mrs. are all tied up and... Wait, a kid? No one said nothing about a kid.
Thanks, Tips.
What are we gonna do? You see our faces, Charlie?
I guess we're just gonna have to
I got him.
Do you now?
Ah! Not one more step.
Easy there. Let the kid go. You aren't a bad guy, just misguided. Don't make a decision you'll regret. For him, for his parents, for yourself. I'm sure you don't want to spend Christmas in a jail cell. Yeah?
No. My ma.
Your ma sick?
Yeah, she ain't doing so good.
Then let's put the gun down and go see your ma.
Ma.
Is.
He's okay, kid. Just napping. You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Good. You were brave, kid. Made your parents proud. Call this number. It's on the back. He's a friend. Tell him Blackthorn gave you this number. He'll take care of these guys. And hey, kid. Merry Christmas, kid.
You too, Blackthorn. You too.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year to you and yours from Blackthorn.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com, in person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
I have special guest Kevin Sirkowski with me today, and you have taken on a mission. You are a man with a mission. Please share your mission with us.
A mission. Well, I decided to invent something called Books for Crooks, which is...
An awesome name, by the way.
Thank you. It's a service for Saskatoon Corrections at the moment to take up a collection at various locations around the city. The Roman Catholic Diocese just kind of came on board a few days ago. Yeah, it's super cool because now we can use their space. Kirby Rachenko and Broadway Theatre were the first one to say yes to it. And what we're going to do is at locations around the city is collect books that are actually useful to the inmates. And once we're done, we're starting December 1st through January 15th, and then once we're done there, the books will go out to Saskatoon Corrections, and then they will add to their library, which they're kind of in the middle of expanding.
Okay, so how did you find the impetus to do this?
I was working for a company, and we went out there and did a bid for some work, and I saw their excuse of a library, which was quite sad. It was mostly romance novels, and these are 18 to 30-year-old men who aren't reading a lot of Harlequin romance.
No.
No, I know, right?
Yeah.
I know, shocker. And so I asked them if they had ever did anything about that. Did they ever do collecting? There have been collections in the past. Saskatoon Public Libraries has done things where they bring them extra books, old books, whatever. But apparently out at the corrections and probably most prisons, there's a need for books because there's a pretty low level of entertainment for the guys. And on top of that, the guys read the books, not like you and I read books, but they take them and they smash them.
Yeah.
They read them to pieces.
Hard on equipment. Yeah.
Very.
So is there any particular kinds of books that like they really, really like that, if people are going to make a donation, what kind of stuff should they be looking for?
Well, if they're going to bring stuff, the first thing that I was told, and it was without compunction, was no hardback.
Okay.
So, because apparently those are weapons inside.
Okay.
They put them in pillowcases, and then they
yeah.
use them as maims and mattocks, I think. Yeah.
Some schoolyard vigilantes.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, prison
So
yard.
soft cover. Let's
Soft
go.
cover.
Yeah.
Soft cover, things that they can use to learn. The other push for this is to kind of to sort of pay attention to like literacy is an idea, because a lot of what the guys do, I mean, those guys are inside that they're not necessarily the first choice for them wasn't learning
Right.
back when they were in school and things like that. So this is a sort of a literacy program, but it's mainly a program to get good books to guys that need them. And what we're looking for is entrepreneurial, do-it-yourself, self-learning, travel books are something that they're looking for. The other thing that surprised me was that apparently books and CDs, because the CDs that read along with the book and help with literacy,
Yeah.
but CDs aren't necessarily a weapon inside.
Okay. Well, it's good to have some
That's all I learned
guidelines.
here.
So instructional stuff.
Instructional
Things that
stuff.
you can pretty self-directed,
Yep.
move at your own pace kind of thing.
A lot of
Some
that stuff.
escapism is good with the travel stuff, but certainly more
Yep.
instructional, do-it-yourself.
Yeah, lots of
titles.
that. Also law
Oh, yeah.
books and financial literacy is another thing that's kind of a big deal for those guys. Well, for everybody that is trying to learn something, right? It's a good pace to move at. So.
Well, I think it's amazing. It's such a great endeavor to like put books into the hands of people who like need them, genuinely need them.
Well, and especially with like local corrections here, is they have a pretty low level of escape from where they're at, because unlike say federal prisoners and such, they don't have a lot, like in their own cells, they're stuck with whatever there's in their cell, and they don't get video escape. They don't get, it's like, they take books from the library if they can, and a lot of that stuff. The CD books, for example, are left into the lending spaces themselves, so that's probably why they aren't turned into razor blades and such.
Yeah. Okay. So how do people donate?
Okay, so what we're going to do is Broadway Theater is one space for sure. December 1st, we have that's when the actual donation period begins.
Okay.
Broadway Theater, we're going to have Roman Catholic churches around the city, Holy Family, Holy Spirit, St. Pat's over on the west side, and probably 4 or 5 others. That'll be something that goes through the diocese.
Okay.
And so you can physically bring books to those sites, leave them there. We'll be periodically collecting them as they call me, probably. I'll be periodically collecting them. I just need to find
You're
a
the
space
middleman.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah.
That's okay. That's great. So, and we will also put on our website and on our Facebook page as well other locations as they become available, so that people know
Well, I
where they
think-
can drop off books.
And one of them is Amazing Stories.
Amazing stories, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll give
So,
them some comic books.
yeah, that's fine.
All
Graphic
books are
novels.
great. All books are great.
Soft cover is the great, the great push for this. Otherwise, I don't want to be on my hands having a bunch of guys hitting each other in the face with pillowcase-filled books.
No, we don't want to go there with that.
No,
Yeah.
but that's where they go.
Okay. Well, I think it's an amazing thing that you've started. I wish you the best of luck with it. I hope we can help you collect lots and lots of books for folks and hopefully make their lives a little brighter.
hopefully.
Yes.
And maybe make them a little better more rounded citizens. So when they get out,
Yeah.
they can contribute.
They'll find something that they are excited about.
That's not up to me, though, is it? Anyway,
Well, thank you for trying anyway. So.
thank you for letting me come on.
All right, it has been a pleasure. So we will have a list of places that people can leave their books, and we'll give you an update on how that's going on our next episode. All right, thanks, Kevin.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Everybody, welcome to the Collector. Wow. I'm very happy to have today my friend Peter Dodson is on the show. Peter's a giant collector. He buys the Star Wars 3 3/4, and you've been collecting them for a long time, and you have probably the biggest collection of open toys I've ever seen. Open toys. You open your toys.
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't, there's millions of collectors out there that are like, wait, what's going on?
Well, you know, I used to keep everything carded and then have one to open, but the space issue became too much, so
Yeah.
I went solely to opening everything.
And you have a giant, I actually have some photos that we'll show here, and you have a giant collection, and like, how many figures do you have now?
I want to say probably last count, including everything that's in boxes, probably 3,500.
3,500
Yeah.
figures.
Don't tell my wife that, please.
Holy moly. Are they all the same figure? Are you buying like multiples? Or are they
no,
different?
I mean, that's just,
Yeah.
I think the number that has gone out. I
Yeah.
mean, some are multiples,
Yeah.
but that's all the way back from, you know, the 1970s to yesterday when I bought some. So.
Yeah. Okay, so people out there that don't collect, that's an immense collection, I think, for anybody. But the fact that you open your stuff up makes it even easier to collect, I think. Because my stuff, I have very few things. You can see I got a little set here of things that I open up. For the most part, my stuff is all in package,
Right.
which makes a lot of stuff. I have a lot of cards and stuff like that laying around. So
I think it's much easier to curate your collection when they're open
Yeah.
because I mean, a 3 3/4 inch, obviously you're talking
Yeah.
about, you know, a small figure, which you can put in a variety of ways. So I've built some shelving units and wall hangings and things like that.
So this is, you brought a little collection of Darth Vader. So
Yes.
like, and well, I see a little Kylo Ren there as
Yeah.
well. So this is like, you just, wow. Like, so you try to collect everything that's coming out. Now, do you go back and buy figures that are older as well? Or?
Yeah, I mean, there was a period in the early 2000s after I graduated university where I didn't have a lot of money and I didn't buy a lot of stuff. So I'm still looking for some of those items. Yeah, I mean, I have pretty much everything from vintage. Vintage is a little harder to get now and a little bit more expensive, all the way through the 90s resurgence of Power of the Force, all the way up to, you know, the Han Solo and vintage collection.
So when were you starting? Did you buy in the 70s and when you were a kid? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I still have some original when I was a kid, and in fact, some of them have glue around their necks because they were infamous for their heads falling off. And so I was 5 or 6, my grandpa actually glued all their heads on. So I still have some of those.
So like pre-glued before you broke them off? Or
Yeah,
after you-
pre-glued. That
Oh,
was
you glued-
yeah.
that was the thing.
Yeah,
eh?
that
Nice.
was presumptuary or whatever they would call it, gluing. Yeah, and then I mean, I started collecting again in sort of the early 90s, and then when Power of the Force came out in 95, that was sort of the beginning of the end, so to speak.
Yeah, that exactly. I think that's when people started coming in, and I remember going to the stores, and there was like so many figures, and it really kind of brought me back to. Okay, so Christmas time.
Right.
Do you get Christmas gifts that are toys still?
Never.
Never?
No,
Are you serious?
No, my daughter who's here just
Yeah.
said to me yesterday, she's like, I can't even buy you Star Wars toys because
you
you've
buy
got
them
everything,
yourself.
right?
That's-
So I think that's when you get to this age, you have everything.
Yeah.
So every once in a while I'll get something that I don't have.
Yeah,
and-
I feel super sorry for you because like it's just like getting Christmas toys.
But
in
it's
the
Christmas all year
yeah.
round for me, so
No,
I get
I
to go
guess
and,
so,
and buy
yeah.
them. And
I don't really buy a lot of toys throughout the year. I just hope that I get them all at Christmas time. No,
I don't believe that, Tony,
no,
for a
I'm
minute.
just,
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
not a minute.
No, it doesn't happen. Okay, so you got this giant collection, and how do you feel about actually starting to buy things that aren't 3 3/4 stuff? Have you thought about going into like Lego or anything like that?
Yeah,
Or
I've got some Lego.
Yeah.
I've got some 6-inch, but I try to be a little bit more cautious with that because of the cost attached to them and the space issue.
Yeah.
I'm pretty locked in to the 3 3/4 inch. It would feel a little bit of like a divergence at this point.
I think, I'd have to say that my biggest problem in collecting and for myself is I buy everything. So I have things from statues to 3 3/4 to 6-inch to like everything in between.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. And I wish that in 1977 I would have just said, no, I'm just going to buy this. But I've been buying the ships and everything else, and it gets to be too much. So I actually admire your collecting and how you buy things and you're buying, like you're sticking to one thing. Okay, so what'd you bring here today? You got some Darth Vaders?
Yeah, I brought sort of a selection of Darth Vader, from the original, obviously the 1977 with the pop-out lightsaber. Now this one doesn't have like the twiggly little end there, but
nice.
To the buffed out, of course, Darth Vader from 1995. With these huge muscles that no one ever saw.
These are crazy.
And then one of my favorite figures of all time, because it was so unique at the time, was the removable helmet Darth Vader. The first time you had a figure where you saw those nasty scars and things like that.
All right, cool.
I won't hand you too many, but the best Darth Vader nowadays is the Rogue One Darth Vader. You only saw him in the movie for 5 minutes, but the figure itself, the menacing aspect of him, and it just shows, I think, where the art has got to in figures these days. I mean, the sculptures are just so much better and more lifelike and
awesome.
And,
cool. Well, thank you very much for bringing your toys in. That
no
is
worries.
Sweet. I really appreciate it. And you have a great collection. I've been to your house. I've seen your stuff, and it's awesome.
Don't give my address out.
I will not.
No,
I will never. But I know I will never. No,
I have a really big dog. Yeah.
There you go. Thank you very much. Thanks for being on the show
Thanks,
today.
Tony.
Thank you. If the turkey is cold, don't spit it out with disgust. Make sure the kids know they can't play with their new toys. They must be kept mint in box.
In the box.
In the box.
In the box.
In the box.
They can play with the wrapping paper, though.
Hey, good one. Yeah, I never thought of that.
They could.
Paper airplanes. Well done. Well done.
Dear Santa, we have been very good this year.
It's my first Christmas as a vampire. I would like garlic toast, but I can't.
I would like blood.
Golly, folks, the weather's really bad. We hope Santa can make it through.
Ho, ho, ho! Rudolph is knocked out cold. There's no way I can deliver in this snowy soup. I can't see a thing.
You don't need to see. We have sonar.
Well, Slugger, it's the bottom of the 9th, and I need a reliever.
I guess you're up to bat.
Great. It's freezing up here.
Thanks for the help, you two. For you, Batty, blood sausage shaped like a candy cane. Ho, 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 ho. And for you, a bucket of, I can't believe it's not garlic, butter. Enjoy your toast.
Thanks, Santa. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Ho, 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 ho.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com, in person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
Hey, I'm here at the Festival of Trees at the Western Development Museum with Mary Lou and Pat, who are going to teach us about how to decorate a wreath.
Good morning from the Festival of Trees in Saskatoon. It's just an honor to be here, and I'm going to tell you a little bit this morning about how you create a wreath. This is a wreath that was created and designed by a gal, my niece, named Lindsay Heisler, and I help her out. I give her input and certainly contribute. So with this wreath, we looked at a different theme this year. It is Christmas, so we wanted red berries or something sparkly, but we also chose this year a wooden wreath versus a green wreath, which is a bit different, a little more modern. And so this wreath we really designed to go into a house that it would fit into, so it's a little bit different. We chose lots of glitter this year, and the coloring we chose was the grays, the whites, and the black. A wreath often starts with finding a little something that you want to design it around, a little bit of a vision. And when Lindsay found Joy to the World, that was our theme this year because it is a Christmas theme. So we purchased after Christmas because it is a bit cheaper to buy your product and whatnot. And then she did it up. She took the lights all the way around the wreath first, and they have to be wired in. Then as she worked on the wreath, and she again made it to flow, everything after she had played with it for a little bit has to be glued in extremely well because you don't want it to fall off. It does get jiggled and moved around.
First of all, when we're looking to purchase a wreath, we're looking particularly at the size of the wreath and what will sell for the festival. Some people really like large ones so that they can put it into their beautifully decorated home. So this particular wreath, we have purchased a larger wreath. When you're decorating the wreath, we start with the lights. And normally we put approximately on a large wreath about 300 lights on the wreath. So that's what we start with. And all of the lights need to be wired in. So we start here, wire in all of the lights on the wreath. Then from there we have thought about a theme. This year for the festival it is Christmas. So we have picked Santa and trees that resembles Christmas to us. And then all of the berries. So what we like to do too is we also like to do increments, odd increments of decorations. So for example, the balls, if we're putting on balls, we would do 3 and not 2 or 5 and so on. Okay, so odd numbers when you're decorating the balls. You can see they're odd numbers in here. Then you will start filling in with your fillers or your decorations. Again, for us, we put on and we take off until we find what suits us. In this particular one, we've gone with the whites, the pine cones, and the reds for Christmas. And then we've decided to, when you're doing a wreath also, it should flow, right? So make sure that you're not just sticking things all over, that it's having a nice even flow to the wreath so that you have your center focal point as well, okay? So then ours is the tree lot, the Santa, and the sleigh, okay? And pretty well we just keep filling things in until we find that we've got enough things on the wreath. And and then it turns into this beautiful display. If you buy the decorations after Christmas, which we lots of times will go and we will buy, decorations on sale, but normally you're probably looking at about a $300 budget for a wreath of this size. You can certainly do, wreaths more economically when you get your decorations on sale as well.
Holiday tip for you, Hank. You and the snowman you built are not best friends, so stop taking selfies with it.
What can I do?
It's not your friend. He's not your only friend.
That was a good tip.
Thank you. That is a good one.
Because I do that a lot, actually.
You do that a lot.
Do that a lot.
I am here with board game aficionado Dan Flaman. Everybody knows him as Board Game Dan. He can be found at Amazing Stories every Friday night, pretty much, playing board games and teaching people about the joys of gaming. Dan, welcome to Punch TV.
Thank you very much, Jody.
So today I wanted to talk a little bit about, what are some good games that people can play? At Christmas time, you generally have a lot more people around, so you can get a game together to play. What's an exciting one that you're especially fond of?
I really enjoyed Telestrations. There's a very good it's easy to get everyone involved in. Everyone is involved for the most part. You don't have someone, say, sitting there having to point things out and everyone else has to guess. Everyone's working on a puzzle themselves, basically. I shouldn't say puzzle, but it's a drawing or a phrase, I think. And if you want to know what the game's like, you have a phrase. So then you have to draw it out on whiteboard. Okay. You pass it to the next person. You get one from the person to your right. They have to figure out what the phrase is from your drawing. They write down the phrase. They pass it on to the next person who has to draw what they wrote.
Okay.
And it continues around until it gets back to you.
So a combination of Pictionary and telephone.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. There's so many games, and I think one of the keys to a good party game is, like, you got to get up and running right away. Like, you can't have super complicated instructions where you're sitting there for an hour, and then by the time you learn how to play it, nobody cares anymore, and they just, like, they're done with it. What's a good family game that people can get up and running with pretty quickly?
A good fast game, Tumbling Dice is also another good game.
Yep.
You learn the game basically in 1 minute, and it's easy to set up. You set the board up, you start punching dice with your finger, basically, and it's a bit like Crokinole, where you're shooting for a target, but there's a little randomness because you don't know how the dice is going to wind up facing when it finally gets, if it stays on the board.
Right.
Aspect. But a game takes about 10 minutes total.
Which is awesome. I like games that you can play fast, furiously, and if it's great, just play it again.
Exactly. Or you can switch out. If you have extra people standing around watching, you can bring in new people and sit out a couple people and work your way through that.
That's cool. Okay, so for the hardcore gamer, so a guy like you who's like got his finger on the pulse, you know games, it doesn't matter if it comes with a rule book that's 16 pages long or whatever. What game are you really excited about this season?
This season? Oh, I've got my hands on a couple of them so far. They've just come out, and I'm waiting for more yet, the big game convention. But I'm going to say right now, man, I can't remember the name. It's in Queensdale, or Queensland.
Okay.
It's a new cooperative, or I shouldn't say cooperative, legacy game. So the game evolves as you continue to play it. Now I just got to find people to sit down and play it with.
That's a really cool new trend, is these legacy games, where basically you're customizing a game for you and your friends.
Yes, because the rules change or get written over or evolve depending what you do in the game and who wins the game. In that sense, they may get to make the choice, or it just happens naturally in the game itself.
Okay, for somebody who wants to learn more about games and maybe they can't come out on Friday nights and hang out with us and play, are there any good websites that you can recommend that will give them the scoop on what's good?
The big game list is Board Game Geek. It is a very big resource. I'm not sure it's good for people. If you're interested in Saskatoon, there is the Saskatoon Tabletop Gaming Facebook group, where it's not used as much as I'd like to see it used, but such is life that way. And
it can grow. It can grow.
It can grow. And we also, there's a board game group that runs a board game convention in town called ToonCon, which I'm a member of, or one of the executive of. We do board games at Amigos Cantina on Monday nights as well. Same thing. We do teaching as we do at your store. And there is also board game nights at Dragon's Den on Fridays as well.
Okay. So lots of opportunities for people to get out there and learn to play games. Now, you're into games. You are also a collector. Like, how many games would you have going at any particular time in your stable?
Part of the goal of teaching the games on Fridays was to go through my stable. So I'm going probably, say, about 130 of the games get used in a year, if not a little more than that.
That's incredibly ambitious.
Well, it is, but 2 games in a week, plus ToonCon, plus Monday nights at Amigos, I can get through most of them.
Is there one game that, really resonated with you, either as a kid or just one that you played and you're just like, okay, yeah, no, I'm definitely going to devote a lot of my leisure time to gaming?
Well, back when Settlers of Catan came out, it's been close to 20 years, there was the big surge in different style of board games. We played that to death when it was coming out. And it's about 20 years ago now. We played it enough, and I got a couple of friends interested. A friend interested. We went to St. Albert when there was a Western Canadian Catan Championship. So the first year we went, I managed to qualify as the Western Canadian champion. Went to Essen, Germany, to play. We didn't do so well there, but that was fine. It was a great experience.
that's incredible, getting to travel the world and play games.
It'd be nice if we could continue to do it.
Well, that is awesome. Well, what I think we'll get you to do is if you can come up with maybe a top 10 games for families and friends, for parties, for over the Christmas season, we'll post it on our Facebook page, and we'll put some links up to your Facebook page too, to get people interested and knowledgeable about what's great for the holiday season going ahead. I think everybody out there would appreciate that very much.
Well, I'd be glad to help them.
Okay, awesome. So stay tuned for that. You can check out our Facebook page, and we'll let you know what Dan says is great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to visit us for our holiday special, and all the best to you and your family for this holiday season.
And the same to you. Thank you very much, Cody.
Thanks, Dan. We'll be right back after this.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com, in person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
You know Senior Love Daddy and Jules and Mace. You recognize Ordell and Nick Fury's face. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Samuel the Mofo Reindeer used to curse and use bad words. And if you ever heard him, he would fill your ears with turds. Doing the nasty to your ears to the nasty. None of the other reindeer dared to swear or call him names, 'cause he would kill them faster than snakes on a melon farming plain. After fighting Palpatine, Ordell Roby came to say, "Look, I hate to be the kind of reindeer does a reindeer a favor, then bam, hits a reindeer up for a favor in return, but I'm afraid I got to be that kind of reindeer." Sammy shepherded the weak through the valley dark. Evil man soon found out his bite surpassed his bark. I still believe in heroes, is what we heard Nick Fury say. Samuel the Mofo Reindeer, you go down in history. And that's the truth, Ruth.
Keep your tree classy.
Not covered in poop. Holiday tip. When having an argument with your dad this holiday season, don't say, "I'm gonna funk you up, old man."
Well, it wouldn't be a Punch Holiday special without a drink recipe, and I have a special guest, Dave, my better half, here to teach us how to make the Rasputin.
Yes.
So how did the Rasputin come to be?
Well, a friend of ours was operating a bar years ago in downtown Saskatoon and wanted some house drinks, like that, that bar could serve as specials. And so there was one weekend where we were just unleashed on the taps and the bottles and the ingredients, trying a little this, trying a little that. And this was the best thing we came up with.
This was the star, definitely.
Maybe the only good thing we came up with.
Maybe. So, okay, what goes into a Rasputin?
Really easy drink to make. 3 ingredients, all in equal measure. Nothing needs to be prepared. Nothing needs to be... Well, I guess you do need to make a really strong cup of coffee.
Espresso.
Or espresso.
Yes.
Or espresso. Ideally, espresso. If that's not in your range, really dark beans, really strong cup of coffee.
Okay.
Hot or cold. It actually, you can...
Both are good.
You can serve it either way. So you basically start with your sort of traditional Black Russian ingredients. So equal measures vodka and Kahlua or some other... off-brand coffee
which is like 2/3 the
liqueur.
price.
Ooh, geez, that one. Okay,
That one's a little heavy on
that's
vodka.
okay. This will be our taster version.
Sure, we can share.
Yeah. So I think when we originally made it, it was 1 ounce, 1 ounce, 1 ounce. But if you didn't want a 2-ounce cocktail, you could go half ounce, half ounce, half ounce. The key is equal measure.
Okay.
So I will try to put a similar amount of espresso in that one.
Okay.
And basically you end up something that looks like a really thick cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But
The up and the down together, the like crazy spike from the espresso caffeine shot with
That's
the downer
right.
of the booze.
That's right. So I guess similar to like an Irish coffee
Sure.
kind of experience.
We'll go with that. So,
Yeah.
so what's the difference between this and a White Russian?
White Russian, you would leave out the coffee
Yeah.
and start out with the same 2 ingredients and just milk to your taste. Not necessarily equal amounts, probably a little bit more. And once you know how you like those, you can basically do it by color once
Okay.
you're a pro.
Yeah. Or the Caucasian, same thing, right? The
Caucasian,
dude
White
version.
Russian, same thing.
Same thing. Okay. Well, I brought the Boney M because, of course, they're coming to Saskatoon in December. They're going to be in our town, and Rasputin, huge hit for these guys. Probably their best song, I would say. Like Night Flight to Venus is also good, and the Christmas album is also very good. But I think Rasputin is definitely the dance floor craze that made them really big. So super good. And I also, as a visual reference, brought the Riley Rossmo comic, which came out like a year or 2 ago, and it's really good. It's dark. The artwork is really moody, and it does tell the story of the Russian Lothario, I guess, who sort of, had his way with many women, including like the queen and her son. So I don't know if he had his way with her son, but he was sick, and that's how he got his foot in the door. Anyway.
Dark, moody, and persuasive, just like the beverage.
Just like the beverage.
So they say the camera adds 10 pounds.
It does.
Here's a tip. When you're about to have all your family over, get ready, get the pictures done before you eat the holiday meal.
Inside a sand grain, like the one on your sleeve, happened a story you must see to believe. For way up in the mountains, the highest range on Tatooine, lay the small town of Mos Eisley, the most wretched hive of scum and villainy you've ever seen. Ask any scoundrel, and they'll have this to say: there is no place like Mos Eisley around Christmas Day. Every window was flocked, every lamppost was dressed, and the cantina band danced in their Christmassy best. Boonta Eve was fine, and Empire Day was pleasant, but every citizen knew, from their toes to their snout, they love Christmas the most without a single doubt. Yes, everyone in Mos Eisley liked Christmas a lot, but the Sith, who lived just north of Mos Eisley, did not. The Sith hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. It could have been that his hand wasn't screwed on just right, or it could be perhaps that his helmet was too tight. But I think the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his head or his hand, he stood outside his home, hating holidays in the sand. What's wrong, Luke? Isn't this the most wondrous thing? I have gifts for everyone. You get a gift, you get a gift, and you get a gift, and...
I guess.
You guess?
Well, it's just that I look around at you and everybody getting all kerbobbled. I mean, doesn't it feel like we're missing the point? What about the Sith? Shouldn't we include him?
I don't need to remind you all that this Christmas marks our 1000th celebration. Every size of creature we can measure knows that Christmas is a time we must treasure. No one is to provoke the one creature within a parsec of here who hates Christmas. No one is to provoke the Sith.
I must find a way to keep Christmas from coming. Tomorrow, all those children will rush for their toys. They'll wake up bright and early with all their noise. Young and old will sit down to feast. It's disturbing, roast beast. They will sing and sing. I will stop this wild thing. Wait a minute. I know what I will do. I will dress as Saint Nick. I need a reindeer.
Santa, why are you taking our Christmas tree?
Luke, you little snot. I mean, you little tot. I'm taking it to my workshop to be fixed. You see, it leans a little bit to the side. I will bring it back, I promise. Giddy up.
It was almost dawn when the Sith packed up his sled, full of presents and trees and food from the spread. He rode with loot to the top of the hill, with the poor trooper stuck to the grill.
They'll be finding out now. No Christmas is coming. They'll be waking up crying, boo-hoo.
But this sound wasn't sad. This sound was glad. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same.
How could this be?
Then the Sith thought of something he hadn't thought of before. Maybe Christmas doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? The true meaning of Christmas came through. The Sith found the strength of 10 more plus 2. The heart of the Sith grew 3 sizes that day. He rode back to Mos Eisley. He brought back the toys and the trees, and he brought back the food for the feast. In fact, the Sith himself carved the roast beast. Christmas Day is in our grasp, so long as we have hands to clasp. Christmas Day will always be just as long as we have we. Welcome Christmas while we stand heart to heart and hand in hand.
Luke. Oh.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com, in person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
It's Christmas, and we have some presents, so we'll do a little gift exchange, and I think it'd be good to talk about some of our family traditions and, you know, do a little nostalgia thing. Do you want to do that first, or do you want to open presents first?
I think we should talk first, because we should always wait. We
Okay.
can always wait for presents.
Anticipation does make it sweeter.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, so when you were a kid, did your family travel for Christmas, or did you mostly stay put?
We went to the lake. We had a cabin up at Emma Lake, so every year we would drive to the cabin and we'd have to like go, you know, tobogganing and snowshoeing, but the biggest thing was snowmobiling. Snowmobiling was the thing. It was the thing to do.
La-di-da.
I'm just trying to picture you on a snowmobile. It doesn't seem like your thing.
It was, yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, yeah. The lakes would be frozen, you just like rip through the lakes. And I was young though, so I wasn't driving the snowmobile.
Oh,
yeah, I was.
that makes more
and my
sense.
grandpa made a giant like sleigh, and the snowmobile would like take this like.
Oh, yeah.
We'd all sit in the back, and he'd go over bumps, and it was like a big wooden thing with
Awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I went to a farm one time and they did that, but instead of a sleigh, it was just an upside down car hood pulled behind the car.
That would be even better.
Was that in Tramping Lake?
Is that
No.
where you grew up?
No. So what did you do at Christmas?
We never traveled because we had our traditions that we were always at home to get up at a certain time, and Dad had to spend 9 hours getting the video camera set up and the whole thing.
I bet you have some good video.
Oh, we have video from about 1984 up until, every year. Every year. Classic.
Future episode of Punch, we need to see some of that
Classic.
video.
Oh, yeah. There's classics on there. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. We traveled quite a bit because our families were in different provinces and stuff like that. Like, we lived here, but my dad's family was in Manitoba. My mom's family was mostly in BC, so sometimes we'd split up. Sometimes people would come to us, so yeah, pretty much a mix for us, yeah. What do you want from Santa?
From Santa? I would love Santa to bring my daughter Captain Underpants books because she owns about half of them now. I would really like Santa to bring the other half because I really enjoy reading them. That's really what I want.
Okay,
Captain Underpants.
That's touching, give the gift to another.
Yes.
So weird, so weird.
Have you never read Captain Underpants?
No, I never have. No.
Captain Underpants.
No, I don't know anything about
man,
that.
you're missing out.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds like we know what Santa could bring you too then, Tony. Well, what's on your list?
I like to get Lego every year. There's a couple giant sets of Lego that are way out of my price range normally, so I hope that Santa can get some cash together and sell some of his stuff to bring me some gifts. So some Lego, and there's always,
I put the odds of that happening about, actually, no, your odds are good. Odds are good.
Odds are
good right now.
They're good.
Wink. Okay,
good.
I really want Red Dead Redemption 2.
What? We didn't know that.
I know. I love that game so much.
Why don't you have it now?
Well, because I've been busy planning the show and stuff. I couldn't have an excuse to lollygag.
I'm at least halfway through now. It's going to blow your mind.
I know it's going to be so good. So that's really what I want.
People talk about it a lot.
They do.
Yeah, and you talk about it a lot. And I don't even know, is it a video game?
It is, but it's an open world game, and you're like a cowboy, and you can just ride around and hunt and stuff if you want, or you can do missions and things. But it's beautiful. Like the animation in it is good, and the storytelling is really good.
Cool,
so
you should start playing video games.
It's like being in a Western. It's awesome.
I'd have to buy a PlayStation 4. Is that what it's on?
I got to get the PS4 and then, but it'll be worth it.
So you have to buy a PS4 and then get the game. Okay, gotcha. So cool. Good for you.
It's an outlay, but it's worth it. And I've been very good, Santa. I've been a good girl this year. So
nice.
All right.
Nice.
So yes, nice. Speaking of presents.
Yes.
Okay, you can pick first, Hank.
For reals?
For reals, you get to pick first.
One of them says naughty words on it. Bad stuff.
And with a very nice message on the back too. It's very nice. That's just for me though.
That's just for you.
What does it say?
Private.
What's
in there? What'd you get?
What
did you get?
OMG.
That is a Punisher growler.
This is what Frank Castle drinks before he goes out to take on all of the bad guys here. And wait, there is more.
What?
There's more.
There's more.
There's bad guy fuel in there. Good guy fuel.
And we have a big rack. Appears to be something that I would hang my hat on.
No, you hang that around your mirror. That's your.
I would hang it around my mirror.
Your mirror, your rearview mirror, and it is.
It's a little bit scary.
It's like a big thing.
Yeah.
It's perfect for you.
It is.
It is perfect for your car.
It is perfect for me, and people won't break into my car when they see this. They'll know.
This is bad.
That would look really good mounted on the front of your hat.
Yes.
It would.
So when I bought this, I didn't realize, but it actually has like a ding in it. So that makes it even more sweet.
It's battle worn version.
It's battle worn.
Somebody with the Punisher had this in his car and he threw it out.
Then I was, if I wanted to buy one of these for my friends, where would I get one of these?
I don't know.
Would you be able to buy one in Saskatoon? Interesting.
No, I don't think so.
I'm gonna have
It's
to check
really
into that.
cool.
Thank you, Santa.
Yeah, none of these are.
All right, Tony, you can pick next.
Well, of course, I want the
biggest one.
The biggest one. Yes.
Okay.
I want the biggest one. What is this? Pray tell. It's a giant. Oh no! It's awesome. It's a hula girl. That is sweet.
Like
That is
one for
awesome.
your dashboard is not good enough. You need a life-size jointed hula girl.
Oh, that is awesome. That is
Merry Christmas.
That is
so
papercraft
awesome.
at its finest.
That is awesome. And I can move the arms around to do
You can
yes,
pose
yes.
her.
That's awesome. Sweet. Thank you, Santa.
That is pretty awesome. Okay, I'm going to
That's
open
pretty
this one.
awesome.
Ooh, it's so festive.
What's up? Hi.
Hey, how's it going? Look at that.
Little Santa
Okay,
here.
that's
Oh, this is exciting. What's in there?
Aww.
No way!
Little poo emoji.
Nothing says Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Truly.
like poo.
Like
poo. Like
poo.
an emoji.
Aw, thanks, Santa. That is
See?
super swell.
Christmas love right there.
Awesome.
That was great.
Well, I hope that you guys all make out as well as we have. And definitely Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Awesome. Well done.
Yes.
Woo!
Woo.
I am here with Greg. And Greg is with the Young Naturalist Program. It is the coolest thing, and I'm learning all about it. We came out to talk about this exciting event that you have right after Christmas. So let's talk about that first, and then we'll snowball into as much of your other programming as we can. So tell us about the Christmas bird count.
Well, great, Jody. Yeah, Christmas bird counts have been going on for well over 100 years all across North America. And it's a great way for scientists to rely on ordinary people like you and me, all skill levels, to go out and count birds. And it's really been an adult endeavor for the last 100 years or so. In the last 10 years, we're trying to get more and more and more kids involved. So we have the Christmas bird count for kids as well. And here in Saskatoon, we're going to kick off our 5th annual Christmas bird count for kids at Beaver Creek on December 27th. And everybody's invited to help us count as many possible birds as we can. And that gives scientists a really cool snapshot of the bird population in Saskatoon relative to all of North America. Plus, we get outside, we get some fresh air, and because it's a kid program, we get cookies and hot chocolate as well.
Ooh, good. Okay. So how does that actually work? Does everybody just kind of like, I'll take this tree and count it, or does everyone count and you take an average, or how does it work?
We're a little bit different than normal bird counts. Normal bird counts, you have a 24-kilometer circle, and you divide it up like a pie, and everybody takes a different section of the pie. Here, we're just working at Beaver Creek, a nice small section. It's an introduction for kids to get into the Christmas bird count, and what we're going to do is just hike some of the trails. We'll hike the Orange Trail 1 hour, we'll hike the Blue Trail the next hour. We'll just see what we can spot. And it's a little bit tricky because there's rules, so you don't count the same bird twice.
Okay.
So as you get later and later and later in the day, it becomes more and more difficult to count birds. And we're getting some regulars here who know that, so they come out for the very first count starting at 10 o'clock.
Okay, that's really cool, because like there's definitely some logic and math and science that go into like just a straight inventory.
Yeah, it's like I say, you have to have the rules so you don't count the same bird twice, because birds have wings, they move around. so basically, if you're saying nuthatches, for example, if you go on one count and you count 3 nuthatches, you can't count any more nuthatches until you see 4. And then after that, you can't count any more nuthatches till you see 5. So it becomes more and more challenging later in the day to find species.
Now, there's all kinds of stuff happening all the time with your different groups that you work with. What are a couple of things that people need to know about that are happening in like January, February that they can put on their calendar for the new year?
January, we're learning about tracks and scats in the snow. So like, you don't always see animals. You see what they leave behind.
Yes.
Yeah. In February, we're going to go to Pike Lake. At Pike Lake, the chickadees are fearless. So you can get chickadees to come right up close and land right in your hand. And it's always great fun if you're a kid.
If you are interested in taking part in the Christmas count, we'll have all the information on our Facebook page, as well as you can check out the Meewasin would probably have some information as well.
Or the Saskatoon Nature Society website, or the Saskatoon Zoo Society website. because the Young Naturalist is a joint program with the Zoo Society and the Nature Society, so the information is on both websites.
Okay, you have no excuse to not participate. The information is out there. Get it and participate and have a great time. Well, thank you so much, Greg. We've had a fantastic day today, and
Thank
I
you,
look forward
Jody.
to more in the future.
And you have a good Christmas holiday season.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you as well.
Take care.
An hour has flown by. Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us for all our festive fun. Again, a very big thank you to Dan and to Peter and to Kevin. And of course, thanks to Dave for coming in and sharing the Rasputin with us. Thanks to the cast and crew, and thanks to you for watching. Happy holidays to you and yours, and all the best in the new year from Punch TV.